Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville. Senator, it's always nice to have you, sir. Congress and the Supreme Court, they have constitutional duty under our checks and balances system to rein in these rogue judges. Our people are literally dying out there, Senator. What's stopping your party from acting to protect us from these corrupt judges?
Well, you're exactly right, Chris. It's an abomination, and it is getting worse. It's not getting any better. You know, President Trump kicked that hornet's nest today when he talked about God, when he talked about Bible, when he talked about prayer in schools. I mean, the Democrats absolutely hate that. So that'll be the next thing they'll go after President Trump about. But you're exactly right. Our justice system's gone to hell in a handbasket. They don't hold very few people accountable. Mental illness is they go in the front door of a courthouse and they go out the back door, back out on the streets. And you saw that with this murder. Our addiction rates are just absolutely out of the roof. What do you think we're trying to protect our borders and blowing these cartel drug ships out of the water for? President Trump is trying to put America first. So we got a lot of problems, and a lot of it starts in our judicial system, and it's not going to get better until we get some of these radical, no-good judges out of their positions and send them back where they need to be, back out on the streets where they can be with their criminal friends.
Yes, well, if only there was an entity that could do that. Oh, that's right. Under the Constitution, we call it Congress. That could happen if Congress cared about us more than the judiciary. Let's bring us back to this current situation on Capitol Hill. Speaking of Congress, it is September 8th today, and President Trump still doesn't have his full government confirmed. The GOP Senate went on vacation, rewarding Democrats' historic obstruction of Trump nominees. In fact, Senator, your leadership prevented recess appointments by keeping the Senate in a pro forma session of Congress out of love for Democrats. I say the reason our people are victimized by the left is that those we elected, the Republicans, absolutely refuse to defend us. And it's literally putting our people in harm's way. Is it your so-called leadership in your party playing right into Elon Musk's call for a third party as your party leadership isn't standing up for its own voters?
Well, when we talk about nominations, we're so far behind for President Trump getting his people into place. We're going on 8 months that he's been into office, and he's really short-handed. We're not getting any help, obviously, by the Democrats, but we knew that. We knew that we're going to play four corners basketball, keep the ball away, keep Trump from getting his people confirmed. Our leadership has to step up. We should have had recess appointments. I was all for that. But at the end of the day, it looks like we're going to do some kind of block nominations this week, hopefully starting this week and maybe next, where we can do 10, 15, 20, 30 at a time. But again, the Democrats know how to play the game. We obviously don't. And so we got to pick our game better. We got to play the game better. But we got to just take the bull by the horns and do it the way we should and go by the Constitution and confirm the people that President Trump deserves.
Senator, I want to take some aim at the fake news press. CBS Fake News, after getting caught deceptively editing another high-profile interview, has changed their policies. In a statement on Friday, the disgraced and untrustworthy fake news network said, quote, Face the Nation will now only broadcast live or live-to-tape interviews subject to national security. CBS, CNN, NBC, MSNBS, ABC, they've hired nothing, in my opinion, Senator, but left-wing employees, and those employees wouldn't know objective journalism if it bit them in their biased rear ends. Yet your party, knowing of this entrenched unfairness, keeps on going on to these networks anyway. They're cowardly politicians. The Democrats, they won't appear here or on right-leaning networks. Should the GOP rethink giving these fake news operations the imprimatur of your presence on these networks?
Yeah, I don't know why anybody go on those networks, because nobody watches them anymore. Thank goodness football's here, because it's breaking the boredom. But again, you're exactly right. People like to do things because they think it's going to get votes for them. That's the problem with this place. People try to get reelected instead of doing their jobs. I've got a year and a half left. I'm running for governor of Alabama because I feel like I can do more there, because you can put something together and build something as governor. You can't do that up here. All you do is do nominations and kind of stand around and try to get votes and raise money. So at the end of the day, you know, things have to change here. We got to get more on President Trump's side. He's got a good team up here that is behind him, but he needs to get more and more support. I saw what happened with RFK Jr. last week. That was an embarrassment. We had Republicans going after RFK Jr., and this guy knows more about medicine than all of them combined. But he called him out. I'm glad what he did. He did a great job, and he's going to be a great HHS secretary. And he's doing things that needs to be done as President Trump's doing things needs to be done with our law and order, taking the streets back over. It's a god-awful mess up here in D.C., but it's getting better thanks to President Trump.
Senator, I've only got a minute left, and you already referenced this. President Trump speaking at the Museum of Bible earlier today, emphasizing the need for America to return to its Christian values. Listen.
As president, I will always defend our nation's glorious heritage, and we will protect the Judeo-Christian principles of our founding, and we will protect them with vigor. We have to bring back religion in America, bring it back stronger than ever before as our country grows stronger and stronger. Our country.
You know, Senator, contrast that with Tim Kaine's comments that Americans' rights come from government, not from God. In my view, this is very much a struggle between good and evil that we're seeing play out right here in our own country.
Yeah, read the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. Our country was built on Christian values, but I think President Trump's bringing all that out for this simple reason. With all the nonsense going on in the lawless cities that we have, and also, these different countries that are bringing their so-called religion with them that hates our country, that hates America, that hates the Constitution. I think he's kind of comparing that and bringing Christianity to light. We need more structure in this country, and it comes from God, and it comes from the things that God taught us to believe in, and help us write our Constitution and our laws for the future of this nation.
Senator Tommy Tuberville, always appreciate the time, sir. Yes, and thank goodness football is back.
Thank you.